What is good, defenders, and welcome to your favorite pre-match show. Of course, this is One More Sleep, and this one is the Sporting Kansas City edition. You know my voice. It's the Scarf, J.R. Liebert. Thank you for all the birthday wishes out there, Ben, and everybody else in the chat, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, social media, however it is that you wished it. Thank you, thank you. I enter my Jackie Robinson year 42, full of a full heart and ready to roll. And we're keeping defenders rolling one day at a time. This is going to be fun. You know what we like to do here on One More Sleep. We'll take you through our players to watch, our keys to the match, and of course, my score prediction for the evening as our boys fly to beautiful Kansas City to take on Sporting. And this, the fifth regular season match of the year for both clubs. Both clubs participating in CONCACAF Champions Club. As crazy as that seems, yes, Sporting Kansas City made CONCACAF Champions Cup. They got bounced by the team that we will play April 2nd. That, of course, the Fighting Messies of Inter Fort Lauderdale. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Look, I absolutely wish I could go to this match. I want to get some good barbecue and spend a good weekend in Kansas City. It could be a lot of fun. And you know what? Maybe in the next couple of seasons, I got to put this one on my list. As a middle school teacher, it is not the most convenient time, although as of about 4 o'clock today, I am officially on spring break. So very excited to spend the next couple of weeks doing some other things. Week 1, I'm off. It'll be lots of fun. And then week 2, I'll be taking 26 middle schoolers to Costa Rica for a service trip. We're going to be working on a mangrove habitat and restoring sea turtle habitats down there as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Really cool service project for these kids. But before we do that, you guys, it is time for one more sleep. And yes, I was able to go to Costa Rica when we played Alajuelense. Pura Vida for sure. Very much looking forward to going back to Costa Rica. The hot springs are amazing. Arenal is amazing. So if you haven't been to Costa Rica, first of all, you got to do it. So that could be a whole lot of fun. LAFC enters this match 2 wins and 2 losses on the season, 6 points. We are in the playoffs as of right now, but it's been a weird start to the season for LAFC. 4 goals and 6 allowed. It's very weird to see a minus in that differential column for LAFC, a -2 so far on the season. But here's what I have to say about the first 8 matches. We've played 8 matches in 26 days. And you know what? Doing so in the middle of the season or maybe towards the end might not be nearly as tough. But doing so for your first 8 matches and the match right before that, being Club America, it's a little bit of a different match too. So it's one of those things that we've really played 9 matches in a short amount of time. Our boys finally got to breathe a little bit, took a little break from the CONCACAF Champions Cup circuit, although, of course, that's happening April 2nd. Did not have to also play in an Open Cup match. Congrats to our boys at LAFC 2 for hanging 7 on an FC Arizona squad that was put together like in the parking lot right before the match. Props to them for scoring and showing up and doing the best that they could out there at Cal State Fullerton. But LAFC 2 on to the second round against AV Alta FC and our former foe from Minnesota, Miguel Ibarra. That's kind of a fun one. He's like from Lancaster and out there playing for AV Alta FC. So that's kind of a fun one for LAFC 2 coming up next. AV Alta FC just scored their first couple of goals in their franchise history, and this is their first season. So it'll be a fun one out there in Lancaster on April 1st. But let's talk about Sporting Kansas City. Obviously, hot seat once again for Peter Vermees, but Peter Vermees just looks over at his boss, which would be him, and says, all right, I guess we'll keep moving forward. Peter Vermees, they've played 6 matches, so far this season, and they have not won a single one. 2 losses to Miami in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, and in their 4 MLS regular season matches, 3 losses and a draw, though the draw came in their last match. We'll talk about this in a little bit. I actually think that this last match for Sporting, a 3-3 draw at home to Minnesota, could maybe be the turning point for something with this club. It's the first time they've scored more than 1 or 0 goals in a game through their first 6. So that's, I guess, a good thing, although they only scored 2. They got an own goal from Minnesota in that last match to level it at 3. Actually, it leveled it at 2, and then they scored another goal to level it at 3 again. Ben, I'm not sure if Spirit flies to Lancaster from John Wayne, but if you get on that flight, I'll get on that flight with you. That'll be fun. Let's also talk about August 4th, 2021. August 4th, 2021, a 4-1 loss to Sporting Kansas City at BMO. That's August 4th, 2021. That was our last loss to Sporting Kansas City. Our last loss to Sporting Kansas City came in August of 2021. And who was in goal? How about Tomas Romero? Tomas Romero in goal, not our usual suspects, but we did have the usual suspects up top. We're talking about Carlos Vela, Diego Rossi, and Brian Rodriguez. Those were our starting 3 up top. It was a Danny Musovski goal late that prevented it from being a 4-0 shutout loss at home. I say that because it comes on the heels, this match comes on the heels of a really surprising shutout loss at home, albeit not in the dominant fashion that Sporting Kansas City took it to us in 2021. They scored 4 goals in less than an hour en route to that 4-1 victory. But it has been since August 4th of 2021 that we have lost. That means 8 matches since then. 8 matches since then, and LAFC has not even conceded more than 1 goal against Sporting. Yes, we're talking about the same Sporting teams with Johnny Russell and Alan Pulido and all the other guys that we've known over the years. How about an 18-4 aggregate? But even those 4 goals, only 3 were scored by Sporting. Chiqui Palacios had an own goal in that mix against LAFC. So an 18-4 aggregate, 6-0-2 in those 8 matches. And look, Steve Schroeder will be the first to tell you he doesn't believe in streaks, and we've managed to put an end to a couple of streaks already this season. But it's why I come in a little bit more confident. And we look at the last time that LAFC played Sporting Kansas City in a match that wasn't part of the MLS regular season. How about the Open Cup last year when we beat them 3-1, but we needed the added extra time? So we played the full 120 minutes, scored a couple of times. But who scored in that match? Olivier Giroud. So, I mean, if Olivier Giroud can score against Sporting Kansas City, maybe really anything can happen. Looking forward to seeing the way our boys respond on the road in this one. Sporting Kansas City has scored a total of 5 goals in the MLS regular season so far. That is 1 more than LAFC has scored. But let's talk about those 5 goals and who they were scored by. Memo Rodriguez, who we know very, very well throughout his time in Major League Soccer. Eric, Tommy, and Daniel Shalhoub. Those are 3 guys who have 1 goal each. Daniel Shalhoub and Eric Tommy. They've been staples on the roster for Sporting Kansas City lately. But their only player who has scored more than 1 goal on the season is a name that, of course, we all know very, very well. That would be Dejan Joveljic. That's right. The former Carsonite with the Herbalife sash. Dejan Joveljic is now plying his trade for Sporting Kansas City, and he's the only player with more than 1 goal. We know Dejan Joveljic. Dude is a goal scorer. It doesn't matter who he's playing against. It doesn't matter who he's playing for. He will put the ball in the back of the net. And I know we've had Omar Campos in the chat. I know we have Carlos Vela. I mentioned you earlier. in this. Carlos, you say we need you back. We'll take you back. Why not? Kai Kamara, by the way, just played in a game for Sierra Leone's national team. It's a victory for them as they beat Guinea-Bissau, and now they head over to Egypt to play. So that should be an interesting match. Kai Kamara, when you're all done, come on back over to LAFC. A lot of things changing in Sporting Kansas City for a team that really does make very few changes if they can. Let's start in the back of the net. Tim Melia, who we know very, very, very well from his long tenure in Sporting Kansas City. Tim Melia is gone. It is now his backup, John Pulskamp, who we actually have seen before in goal for Sporting Kansas City. Fluffhead, I'll address the Club World Cup stuff with Leon in just a minute. John Pulskamp is now the starting keeper for Sporting Kansas City. He started the season off okay. Gave up a goal to Messi and then a goal in his next match. So just one goal each in his first two matches. But since then, the last four matches that Pulskamp has been in goal, 3 goals allowed, 2 goals allowed, 2 goals allowed, and 3. That is a whopping 10 goals in 4 matches that Pulskamp has allowed. Tim Melia is not walking through that door anytime soon. They do have a couple other keepers on the roster, but I think they're going to keep rolling with John Pulskamp in this one. It's also hard to think about Sporting Kansas City without Johnny Soccer. Johnny Russell, no longer with Sporting Kansas City. He hasn't played at all this season for Sporting. And, it's I don't know who he's going to play with. I think is he out of contract, right? As of January 1st and without a club. I was shocked when I was looking for stuff on him on Transfer Market that he was without a club. Hard to believe that a club who's having trouble scoring goals, but could also use his aggression out there on the pitch. No Johnny Russell. And of course, the other big one, as you guys all know, Alan Pulido. Alan Pulido, who really started to come into his own, is now back with Chivas Guadalajara. He's playing okay for Chivas. He's got some run in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, has 2 goals in Liga MX. So no Alan Pulido and no Johnny Russell. Yes, of course, they still have Daniel Shallowy. They still have Eric Tommy. They still have Jake Davis. A lot of the other names that we know very, very well. Ben Skolnick says he's going out on loan to Des Moines Menace. Could be. I mean, everybody else is playing for the Des Moines Menace right now. It's unbelievable. But let's talk about a couple of guys who they do have that are new to the club. So we should expect to see these guys, and these will be faces that we don't know. And they both come over from the same Greek team, Aris Thessaloniki. It's an interesting club that gave Sporting Kansas City not 1 but 2 players here in this offseason. The first, a 25-year-old Russian winger, Shapi Suleimanov. He comes over as a TAM player, but they're kind of counting on him to be one of their goal scorers this season. He has 1 assist through 4 matches. Suleimanov does. He's a 25-year-old, like I said, and they do have him starting up top on the wing. And his former teammate, who became his current teammate, is one of their 2 designated players. That would be Spanish midfielder Manu Garcia. Manu Garcia, 27 years old, spent some time in the Manchester City system, played through a couple of their lower tier teams, and then did get 4 matches in with the Fighting Etihads with 1 goal in those 4 matches for Manchester City. And again, he also comes over from Aris Thessaloniki from the Greek First Division. So Manu Garcia in the midfield. Look, we've seen midfielders give us trouble this season. He is a very pacey, fun midfielder to watch. So keep your eye on Manu Garcia and keep your eye on Shapi Suleimanov for sure. But they're not my players to watch for the match. Let's get in to my players to watch. Then I'll give you my keys to the match and then my score prediction. And then after that, I'll give you a quick little bit of insight. We're going to talk about it a lot more on the pod after the Sporting Kansas City match, but I'll give you a quick little bit of insight on what's going on with Club Leon and no longer being part of the Club World Cup and who might get that spot. A lot of LAFC faithful are like, well, we lost to Club Leon for that spot. We should just get slotted right in. Hold on. Turns out that team that we know very well, Alajuelense, is creating a big stink. So I'll talk about that more in a minute. Let's get into my players to watch. First and foremost, David Martinez. I am really looking forward to David Martinez, especially because Denny Bouanga and Nathan Ordaz are not going to be playing in this match as they are gone on international duty. So with Nathan Ordaz and Denny Bouanga gone, yes, Cengiz Ünder is going to have to pick up some slack. And yes, we're going to need to see something from somebody else up top. But I think this is the perfect match for David Martinez to come out and show us something. It is going to be fun to see number 30 with the ball at his feet. And I've really liked the maturity and the poise that I've seen. He'll be opposite Cengiz Ünder. And the one thing we know about David Martinez is he'll continue to make those runs. He's got to fill that role also. For Denny Bouanga, it's going to be interesting to see Cengiz Ünder likely taking a lot of the corner kicks. So you can imagine that a guy like David Martinez will be around the back of the pack there, looking to poach one and get a one-timer from deep. So I really like David Martinez in this one. And of course, for Sporting Kansas City, I worry about this player anytime he's on the pitch. Yes, I know last year they had Pooch and they had Peck and they had Royce, but there was still something about Dejan Joveljic that every single time he touches the ball in the attacking third, you have to think somehow, some way, there's a shot coming up. Dejan Joveljic is as straight line of a goal scorer as you will see in this league. He is very, very good, and I think he's been underrated for quite some time. So aside from David Martinez, for Sporting Kansas City, it's going to be weird not seeing him with that Herbalife sash down the middle. But Dejan Joveljic, certainly my player to watch. Got a couple of keys to the match here. First and foremost, back line to basics. We need to get back to what we were doing earlier in the season in terms of our back line. It's time to start putting up zeros again. And I think that we are getting healthy. I think that obviously we know that Marlon is out, but I think that we are getting things together, and we had an entire week to train for the first time in a long time. And I think a lot of those great habits that we put into the team during preseason and preseason training, well, we started to see a couple of those maybe slip a little bit. This team made much more in Steve Cherundolo's image than several LAFC seasons past. So I think our back line needs to get back to basics. It's time to start putting up zeros again, whether that's Ryan Hollingshead on the back line, Sergi Palencia, or even, our new guys as well. We need to see more from Artem. I think Artem is a big piece moving forward. I just love the defense that Aaron Long has played for most of this season, but it'll be a matter of who winds up lining up next to Aaron Long. Is Maxime Chanot healthy enough? Will it be Eddie Segura? Will there be some midfielders that are called in to defend in that final third? So we'll see. Maxime Chanot was available for selection in the last match. So we'll see. And look, the bottom line is this is a keeper who's given up 10 goals in his last 4 matches. So we need to put as many on Pulskamp as we possibly can. I channeled my inner Philly. He loves to use the pepper line when it comes to one of these keys to the match. So I think we should pepper Pulskamp because, look, he gives up goals. If you keep putting the pressure on him, he does give up goals. Oh, Fluffhead. I'm not going to repeat that comment, but it made me laugh. So those are my keys to the match. And I do think LAFC gets back to basics here. I think LAFC gets back to doing what we do well. I just don't know if there are enough weapons. Although, look, I really did think that we would put it on Austin. I was way wrong, completely wrong about how that Austin match shaped up. But I'm telling you, I think this is going to be one where you gave LAFC an entire week of training. For us to get things back going in the right direction and training conceivably without Denny Bouanga and Nathan Ordaz, so that the players who will be called on to these key roles, whether it's Jeremy Abobasi or we'll see the health of Olivier Giroud. I haven't seen any update from the team yet on how Olivier is doing, but I would imagine our front three up top are going to be Cengiz Under, Jeremy Abobasi, and David Martinez. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I really do think LAFC is going to figure it out. And I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if we see a goal or two coming from an unlikely source, maybe an Nkosi Tafari getting a header on one in the box. I would really like that. I would love to see Igor Jesus take a shot so that a couple of these teams can stop sagging off of him and just waiting for him to make the pass. Maybe this is a game where Timothy Tillman does something really cool, or maybe Marquis Delgado gets on the score sheet. But without Denny Bawanga there will be shots to be had. I do think David Martinez will get at least one of them, and I would love to see Cengiz Under get his first. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens in this match. But I really do think that LAFC is going to be able to circle the wagons on this one. All right, before we call time on this one, let's talk for just a second about Leon being removed from the Club World Cup. We're not going to get into why, because this is just a One More Sleep episode, but a lot of you out there are thinking LAFC has a chance to be put into that slot, and there's plenty of good reasoning for it. Rumor has it that Alajuelense was the team that brought it up to FIFA for the, owners owning multiple clubs rule, I think was the issue, which is why Club Leon was kicked out of the Club World Cup. It's hard to believe that they either won't give it to Alajuelense or to another Liga MX team, maybe a Club America or someone like that. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do, but you got to believe LAFC have to feel like they have a right to gripe for that spot. If Club Leon couldn't have participated in the first place, then that means LAFC, in my opinion, should get that spot, because that's why the spot was awarded to them, for winning that particular match that they did. So you know what? It would be great if next in line is us. I don't think it will be. If you ask me right now, I mean, look, I've been off a little bit this season, but if you ask me right now, it's either going to go to a Liga MX or to Alajuelense. So we will see. But I've got 3-0 for this, you guys. 3-0 for this match for our win against Sporting. A very important 3 points on the road for us. And what I think could be, if everything goes the way I think it will, what I think could be maybe the final straw or the series of dominoes that begins the end for Peter Vermees in Sporting Kansas City. So we'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Hit me up with all of your score predictions, your players to watch, your keys to the match. And don't forget, let me know how wrong I am when I'm wrong, because I'll let you know how right I am when I'm right. I love you guys so much. Thank you all for your support of Defenders of the Bank. Have a wonderful time at all the watch parties that you will be going to. And of course, check us out in just a couple of nights for episode 350. That's right. One of the big milestones, episode 350 of Defenders of the Bank, coming up soon. Love you guys. And you know how we like to end all of these. Bye-bye.